space is sort of, I think, 5 minutes past the hour. We'll be kicking off in 2 minutes. And hopefully we can, we can cover everything that we, that would like to cover within the next 2 hours. But yes, thanks again. TEDx, I see you. Great, Rich. And I think it's Lamis. Please correct me if I'm wrong. If I pronounced it incorrectly, do let me know. Shriox, thanks again for joining. Invisible, not Dave, mate. That's a funny one. Thanks for joining. Callum. Yes, great. Thanks, everyone. I think we have a lot to cover. So I'm looking forward to the discussion ahead. I think things are shaping up within the ecosystem quite nicely. Prizes are notwithstanding, but the fundamentals are very, very strong. Anyway, great. Cheers, I see you. Thanks for joining, JD, Melocryptic. Well, great. It's 10 minutes past the hour, and we are now kicking off this session. Okay. By the way, I mean, I was traveling, and therefore, I mean, that was part of the reason why I had, I sort of opened up the spaces 5 minutes past the hour instead of usually, on the hour, or just a minute or so past the hour. I just needed to put it out there. In our usual way, we'll just go through the TITANX protocol stats, and then we'll get our updates from our builders. A lot has been happening, as we're aware, and the month of December promises to be really a very busy and active month. After the updates, in our usual way, we'll open up the floor for observations, discussions, and any questions that we as the community may have. So on that note, I will kick off. Let me mention, yes, we're focusing on the TITANX protocol stats, but all of these TITANX protocols, the build on TITANX protocols, and I could stand corrected, do have their own individual stats. If you visit Mike Dean's TITANX hub, you definitely get the more global view. And so we have, for instance, the ecosystem market cap is just a little over 188 million. You can approximate that to 190 million. I think TITANX is, a significant chunk of nearly half of that amount is really TITANX, and well, the rest really you can split between all the various BOT protocols. But the reason why we're focusing on TITANX, given that, of course, we're talking, we've seen the launch of X28, we've seen recently the launch of Shogun. Both protocols have positioned TITANX, to go multi-chain. And so the focus here on TITANX is not to ignore that at all. It is a given. It's a fact that these protocols are definitely positioning TITANX to go multi-chain, and at the same time soaking up quite a lot of TITANX on the market. And so when we say the fundamentals are still great, like the fundamentals of TITANX is definitely great. Price is lagging, correct? I think we know that, but I think, in my view, all we need is really one trigger, one catalyst, and your guess is as good as mine. This is not financial advice, but one trigger really can bring prices up to date or where they should be. But a lot of work is going in here. So on that note, let me go to the TITANX start page, and let's see. I think what we have circulating supply, we have approximated to 68 trillion. TITANX is on the market. Of course, we know over the course of last month, and this is, of course, when I say last month, a few days ago, today being the 1st of December, we did have quite a bit of TITANX hit the market through the unstaken route. So this was expected. We had it all. It's not a surprise. And I think in months to come, I think we should really see a significant reduction. Again, not financial advice, but if you look at the stats again, you go to TITANX Hub, Premium, you could see at the stats, there's really hardly anything coming out on the mint, on the TITANX due for claiming, the claimable TITANX. There's very little coming out. And when you look on the stats, sorry, on the staking side, there's really, again, not much coming out, quite insignificant. And you see the squeeze that is really continuous, given the build on TITANX protocols. It would just mean that the circulating supply of TITANX will continue to shrink. So we'll keep an eye on it. But I think we're all aware of the narrative. Nothing has changed. The system is there, working exactly the way that we expected it to work. And it's not broken. Therefore, the narrative still holds. If anybody has any different observation, please feel free to share. But that's the beauty of these stats that we have available through different sources, be it the stats on the TITANX website or Mike Dean's stats or analytics, is that you can definitely draw your own conclusions on this. Okay, so just moving on to staked, we only have 16.3 trillion TITANX staked. Most of these will be due much later. A lot of them are due. A huge chunk of the 16.3 trillion is due on day 2888, or that's 8 years from now, or 35000, that's 3,500 days from the launch of TITANX, which is 10 years. 10 years from the 28th of October last year. That would really, when a lot of people maxed staked, and that is when a lot of these would be due. So, and that is, of course, if you ignore for a moment those people who may very well choose to use their stakes or part of their stakes to participate in the auction, the Shogun auction. So, to put that aside, I think the message here is what we experienced last month with the TITANX that became due on stake. Well, the TITANX that became that were on stake last month. That we would not be experiencing that again for quite a while to come. Let's see. Buy and burn, we're talking about 33.72% in percentage terms. In fixed terms, it's 30.4 trillion. No, sorry, sorry, but that's the BOT burned, actually. That's 30 trillion, 30.4 trillion. But the buy and burn, that's the TITANX buy and burn pools. We're talking about 35.7 trillion. So if you add that together, I think in total, if you look at the BOT buy and burn, and you look at the TITANX protocol buy and burn pool or pools, you have in total in excess of over 100 trillion, which is quite really good. It has worked. These buy and burn pools have really helped with the hyperdeflationary narrative, and we are heading in that direction, or we are pretty much there, even though we're not feeling it with respect to prices of the various of our various protocols here. But when you look at the stats here, definitely it points only in one direction, and that is the significant reduction in the circulating supply of TITANX tokens. And so that's I think that's where I'd leave it with TITANX. That is really a base currency. Everything is built on it. And so I think if we want to know exactly what's going on, on the higher level, that is really where that's where the story starts. That's where we need to look. I actually have here up, I've got Shogun up, and it's just to quick take a look again. This is just day 4, so there's not much to report on from a stats perspective, but we should all be I think keeping an eye on this from a TITANX perspective, and to see exactly what is transpiring here, and how that is impacting TITANX and of course X28. So let me leave it at that. I would want to hand over to Mike, and then we can go through the various updates that we have on the BOT protocols. Mike, over to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, everybody, how's it going? So, I mean, I did say yesterday in the stream that I'm going to be launching the Matrix white paper today, but I had a bit of an emergency private and I had to take care of. So that's why it's not going to be today. I will set a stream for tomorrow. And then, we just go through the white paper essentially. But sorry for that. But like I had to just take care of things. And but it's going to happen tomorrow. The other thing, obviously, Turbo launched a few hours ago. And I mean, we have Steve, I think, in the house as well. So probably can talk about that as well. But nevertheless, congratulations to you, Steve, for the launch. We had an interview yesterday going through Turbo. So I don't know if you're interested, you can go through that. But essentially, in short, it's pretty much like Vault mechanics built on top of Hyper. So the Hyper is the input token to the auction. There's an 8-day full distribution. And if you want to participate, you can go to turbo.win, or also just visit titanx.com, and all the links should be there. The other part is obviously Shogun. This is also just chugging away. Probably a quick refresher for the new people listening in. Shogun is the first project built on X28. It has a 28-day auction system. We are on day 4, by the way. And the input token for that auction is X28 and TITANX stakes. For X28, you can transform your TITANX to X28. You just need to visit x28.win, and then you can transform it, and then you can enter the auction that way. For the TITANX stakes, you need to match the TITANX stake amount with the liquid TITANX. So, for example, if you have 10 billion TITANX at stake, you need to match it with 10 billion liquid TITANX to enter the auction. So if I looked at the stats just a few minutes ago, looked up some of the stats. So some interesting stats here is that the total liquid X28, which was used to enter Shogun auction up to now, is around 2 trillion. And the other one, which is the total TITANX used, because you have the stake and the liquid. So it's stake plus liquid, right? That's summed up together is 4 trillion. So quite interesting that actually quite a lot of people have given up their stakes to enter the auction so far. And one thing you can really see this as well is actually on the TITANX Premium. You can see for the Dragon X stats, you can see now that the percentage pool, the percentage for Dragon X is going up, or like went up quite. I think it should be around 50% now. So they are dominating. I think before it was, not sure, I'll have to look that up. I haven't written it down, but definitely was a bit lower, around probably 42, 43, if I'm not mistaken. So it's went up. I think similar, it's also for Helios as well. So the people burning the stakes, obviously the people left behind, or the projects left behind, they have a much better percentage of the pool. So that was quite interesting regarding Shogun. So that's pretty much it for my side today. Just want to keep it short. I didn't have much time to prepare. I had to take care of some few things here myself, but nevertheless, I'm gonna be here, and if anything, I can answer any questions. Thank you. I'll give it up to the next person.
Great, thanks, Mike. And I think that explanation is definitely helpful for those who are quite new to understand what's going on with Shogun and X28. Okay, great, and of course, Matrix, and where things are. Okay, let's proceed. James, over to you, and we'll just follow, in that order.
Yeah. Thanks very much. How's the audio coming through?
It's really good from my end. I think I could definitely hear you, but I just looking at the comments. I think TEDx said sounds good is not so good. I don't quite understand whether that's the audio or. Anyway, I mean, not to you. I probably he was talking generally about the sound. I'm not quite. Anyway, carry on. I can hear you.
Well, perfect. Well, thanks, for everyone who is joining on Sunday. Thank you again, Plan A and Mike Dean, for always putting on a good show, organizing all these things. So we just have one update from the Baby Dragon X adventure. The long-awaited buy and burn has come. The dev work has been completed, and the auditor has been selected, and they will start on Monday. Because it's a simple buy and burn contract, we are going to do one audit with a full barrage of testing. So not just a code review, but they're going to really hit it hard with, a full set of code, or a full set of code testing, edge cases, many different aspects and levels and all that type of thing. If anything came up where it was shown that, there's something here with the buy and burn that was a little bit different, we'll do a second audit, but we just feel like this one audit is probably sufficient for this. Scale buy and burn may be used in project number 3 with the Baby Dragon X adventure, which is a collaboration with another major TITANX project, and it will be fully audited within that other set of contracts. So it will be fully audited later on. If we found anything wrong later on, we would just fork it, burn up all the funds, and make any fixes on that mode. We expect this audit to be 4 days maximum, 4 to 5 days, and it's going to be pretty aggressive because we've got a couple streams of income As if you've ever hit the Baby Dragon X Horde, you can see there that we participated in quite a few protocols. There was almost 65,000 put into Hydra. Of course, we're a 1/3 owner of Element, 280 that keeps chugging away, and a handful of others, Ouroboros, et cetera, et cetera. So we've got some great revenue sources coming in. Of course, there's the beautiful tax and the reflections. People have been tweeting about the reflections that you do not have to claim for scale. All you do is hold your scale. And as people swap, they buy, trade, they buy or sell or transfer, you get reflections automatically in your wallet. It's a gasless transaction. So gasless to the user, that is. So scale, buy, and burn coming. Scale is working beautifully. For a while there, we were the 3rd largest LP with Shogun. I think we may have been bumped to number 4, but we've got quite a bit of scale to deploy. And we are, even though we love the Dragon Kingdom, we're not married to the Dragon Kingdom. So if there's a great protocol out there, we've got 10, 20, 30, 40 billion scale that we can create a beautiful LP with. So that's the whole idea. LP webs, our bots coming in here, creating volume for us and all that type of thing. So that's my update for the week. Thanks very much. And I'll be around for questions.
Thanks, James. Thanks a lot. Yes, dude, over to you.
Good morning. Let me just run through the 5 protocols that I've got going. Try to keep this quick. Starting with Helios, we have $879,000 in our investment pool across all of the dozens of tokens that we've got. All of that's going to be used to either to support HLX in one way or another. Either that's through the buy and burn or paying out HLX stakers. I'd like to try to split that 50-50 as best as possible. Also increasing LPs, but 879K, that's not bad. Not bad at all. When you look at the market cap of what HLX is and you go to the stats and see there's in liquid HLX, there's 700K. So fun stuff. Giannis, Pulse Chain is waking up. It's doing great things. Primarily, we've created a huge LP with Inky. That's through GooGod, if you guys aren't familiar. And Inky has exploded recently, which is through the LP webbing, has blown up Giannis. And in that process, HLX is getting burned because people are minting Giannis through the arbitrage opportunities. And it's great to see. We've also got roughly $1 million in LP rewards and through our LP promo on Giannis. Bring your favorite Pulse Chain token to the Giannis page and create an LP and earn rewards on that. Please join our Telegram if you got additional questions on that. 1 million in the rewards pool. It's amazing. E280. NFTs are burning. Tokens are burning. It's great. I'm watching the share of the reward pool growing. Like my percentage has gone up and up each week. And it's beautiful to see. The NFTs are never going to be minted again. So you are, as opposed to most staking protocols where the possibility of getting diluted is there as people come in, that is impossible with E280. Your share rate can only go up as people, it's a one-way street. You can only burn, you cannot mint. So it's really beautiful to watch. And we've hit 52% of the tokens burned. That's a huge milestone to be over 50% already. I feel like we're just getting started. And our LPs are growing. We're up to 23 pairs now, and that is including Shogun. The only other one that we haven't added yet is Eden, which will be coming soon, making it 24 pairs. It's every pair we add adds additional arbitrage opportunities, additional volume, additional taxes being paid. It's everything's working as intended. Element 369 is minting now. This is the E280 expansion pack. If you're familiar with the Flux protocol, they've got the daily auctions. This automates that for you. So just mint an NFT and chill, and you are participating in auctions daily without having to do anything. There's auto compounding going on, and in the process, you are earning 2 capped deflationary supply tokens, Inferno and E280. It's beautiful. And then we've got Stacks, which is coming very soon. We will be releasing info this week about it. It is another easy button that I personally am very excited about as well. And this will increase E280 volume, no doubt. So keep your eyes out for that. And the ecosystem is just working beautifully. Also, just on a general note, I'm looking at Jake's latest tweet. Everybody should like and retweet and all that good stuff, showing off the deflationary aspect of TITANX itself. We are in that deflationary stage. I was looking on TITANX Hub Premium. We've got 1 week left of inflation, 143 billion TITANX, and then it's basically at zero from here on out. So let's go TITANX fam. But yeah, that's all I got for today. Please reach out if you got any questions.
Great. Thanks, dude. That's a comprehensive update. Yes, so Steve DeFi, going over to Vault, the Vault Kingdom.
Hey, am I loud and clear?
You're loud and clear.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yes, so Steve DeFi here. Turbo, I'll give you an update for Vault and everything going on. And Turbo launched a few hours ago. It's the first protocol exclusive for Hyper. Launch perfect. It's a beautiful UI. Hyper is input, and the only difference with Vault is it's full Vault, and so it's Vault for Hyper. The great thing, what great thing I like is you can click the pop-up and you can see all the other pillars and Vault and the ROI. It's kind of a cool thing. So that's Turbo for Hyper. Go check it out. And so the plan for the pillars is I've had an idea to streamline. So it's that like combining them together. So in Eden and Lotus, when I launch Zara, there's lots of people who want Zara, and I kind of want to just launch them over the next few weeks, and then move on. So because it's a big task it's a big idea to begin with, but it's not as exciting as some of the things that I could be doing. But so I thought let's combine them together. So Lotus and Eden can be input for Zara. For gold, because gold is also, everyone's asking me for gold. So I know that's really what people want. I thought of combining Helios and Element 280 together for input. So every day there'd be 2 tokens in that protocol, and then I was just going to release one more and have everything as an input. So it just be one protocol, and the tokens, the different tokens can be input. Awesome X, Morpheus, Matrix, a few others, which will get a certain supply. So it's kind of a nice curveball to make it a bit more interesting, I thought. But Bull, I've got Bull already ready to go. So everyone in Inferno will be happy with that, because I know they want that one. So that's the plan. Please give me feedback on those ideas. Just message me, come to the Telegram. I thought that was a really cool way to get it done in a more fun way by combining. So that's that. The last thing I want to share is I've been really thinking the last couple of weeks on tokenomics and things. Forking Vault for a pillar is a bit, for me personally, it's a little bit more boring. then creating new tokenomics and new things. And I was thinking this last 2 weeks of the wheel, because I'm very excited about the wheel, which is coming in January, and it was missing something. There was something niggling me, and I thought I just wanted something more, and I had a tokenomic breakthrough, an amazing tokenomic breakthrough. I paused the wheel audit. It cost me. I paused the audit and implemented this simple, profound change. I'm going to share this tokenomic breakthrough with Mo this coming week. I think people are going to be excited. I think Plan A. I thought like a live camera on him, he might do somersaults on this one. This is it's very simple, and I think once I share it and once I've launched the wheel, I think everyone there's no loss to implementing this in every single protocol. It is such a big win. I think Jake's gonna like it. I think Eric is gonna like it. I love it. It's simple, and it's for me personally. For me, it's the biggest paradigm shift I've had since perpetual auction back in September. When Vault launched perpetual auction, it changed the tokenomic idea of a buy and burn and distribution. But this, for me, is the biggest paradigm shift since, and I'm very excited to share. And I'm not very good at keeping my mouth shut, but I've been trying to keep my mouth shut because I launched Turbo. I didn't want to take any attention off it. But yeah, so I'm going to share it with Mo this week, and I love to have a discussion about it too, because I think it's a great discussion to have with the community. It brings in many things that we can have a good discussion about. But I have already implemented it, and they're going to love it. You guys are going to love it. Everyone is going to love this idea, I'm sure. But I loved feedback this week. And I'm not trying to hype this up too much, but I'm just really, really excited to share. So that's what I got. I'm going to be on with Mo. I'm going to share with him. I'm looking forward to chatting with him this week later on. So thank you, guys.
Great. Thanks, Steve. We're looking forward to the disclosure of the tokenomics with respect to wheel. Now you've really created that anticipation. So when exactly are you having the the live chat or the chat with Mo?
Oh, anytime, maybe like Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday.
Okay.
I'll get on. I can share this idea like in 5 minutes, but it's almost like, when you look at an optical illusion and you see one thing and another, it's like that. And it's really, 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 it's incredibly interesting. It's almost, why haven't we been doing this? It's
okay.
Like
now, if you can give us a little bit when we get to the discussion phase, a little bit, that would be great. And of course, we would look forward to a more detailed account during your stream with Mo. But if you can give us a sort of a very high level, once we get to the discussion stage, that would be something that would be appreciated. But anyway, think about it, huh?
Brilliant.
Okay, great. Thanks again, Steve. Always exciting and interesting listening to you and the ideas that you have. It's great. So moving on, Crypto Awesome, over to you.
Hey everybody, can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Right on. Yeah, man, these spaces get me so fired up. I mean, man, everybody's, what's cool is like everybody's creating a universe. Like Mike, you created the whole TITANX universe with the TITANX hub. Dude, you got a whole Helios universe now. Steve, you got a Volt universe. James, you have a Baby Dragon X universe. It's like so exciting, guys. There's a whole Inferno universe / Blaze universe. It's like, it's crazy. It's very, very cool to see all of this shaping up. And now we're doing the Awesome X. There's obviously the Awesome X universe is within the Dragon X universe. But anyways, I'm just very blessed to be here. So AwesomeX is doing great. You know, we're acting as a close to a capped supply right now because not many people are minting each week, which is in one sense very cool because all we're doing is burning mostly, and burning and building. So we are also building the AwesomeX universe. Last week we launched the AwesomeX hybrids, which are collateralized NFTs that you purchase with AwesomeX, but actually you can purchase them with all 4 input tokens with DragonX, AwesomeX, TITANX, or ETH, and it will swap it for AwesomeX in order to mint. But the cool thing about the hybrids is I will be doing some giveaways of the hybrids as well, but the hybrids will allow you to basically have like be part of a membership club in one sense, because all the new protocols launching, we're building in benefits to AwesomeX hybrid holders. And the cool thing is, you know, obviously when you mint a hybrid, like different from normal NFTs, you would mint a normal NFT and your funds would go and get allocated away. Well, when you mint a hybrid, your funds stay in the hybrid. So it's very interesting. It's there's a lot of really cool things that we can build with hybrids, and also as Dude is showing with the with the returns and a capped hybrid supply, which is very fascinating. And then also as James is showing with reflections, well, they're not really hybrids. It's just a token with reflections for scale, but there's ways to do reflections with hybrids as well. So just fascinating stuff. We're working on a multi-collateral hybrid right now, which is basically a hybrid that you will purchase with a certain token, but it will be filled up with additional tokens over time as the reward system. So you can burn the hybrid and you would be able to redeem all of the tokens if there's multiple. So fun stuff happening right now. The next protocol that's in the works, getting close, is Draco. Draco will mint with AwesomeX. It will, mine with AwesomeX. It will be 88-day max miners. It will mine with AwesomeX, and it will also pay out stakers in AwesomeX. That's the one we're working on right now because Draco will allow us to build. It's an infrastructure piece for the AwesomeX universe. It will allow us to build multiple additional protocols, and there are other ones being built as well right now. So that's really my update. Thank you for everybody. I'm really blessed to be here. So happy holidays to everybody.
Thanks. Thanks, Crypto Awesome. And of course, last week was Thanksgiving week for those in the US. So happy holidays to all our community members who are from the US. Great. Callum, over to you.
Hi guys, I hope everyone's doing okay. Yeah, first of all, Dave, I'm looking forward to Draco. That sounds awesome. And Steve, I don't know how you keep coming up with these ideas, but I'm super excited to hear what this new big one is. And yeah, just before I get into a Phoenix update, I thought I'd just cover something that Dude mentioned about the TITANX deflation. Jake shared a tweet yesterday, and it was $1.1 million was burnt yesterday of TITANX, which is about 1.3 or 1.4% of the supply. And like Dude said as well, literally on December 7th, I don't think we're going to have above like a $3 billion release day for TITANX. So literally supplies just dropping off a cliff. I can't wait for it. Just a quick update on Phoenix. So we did have our first audit come back. It was CD Security, the same guys that did the audit on Titan Farms. They found 0 critical issues, which I'm really happy about. And we're in the next audit now. And it should be finished about Tuesday or Wednesday, which is awesome. I do have some dates in mind, but I am not going to announce them yet. But I'll give plenty of time before anyone, for everyone. And if you want to find more about Phoenix out, I'm doing a stream with Jordan Riz and Smooth and Crypto. We're going to be covering Phoenix, and we're also going to be covering Smooth's new project Flare, which he announced yesterday on a stream with Mo, and it sounds super interesting. He's literally merging loads of tokenomics together. It's kind of like Shogun and Inferno had a baby. Like, it's really, really interesting. So feel free to come to that stream. It's going to be at 9 UTC. on all our channels. Yeah, but that's pretty much it. Thanks for having me on, and I really appreciate it.
Great, thanks, Callum. And I thought, of course, I think we're all encouraged to attend and hear what you have, definitely what you have for us. But thanks. Rainman, over to you. Looking
What's
forward
up?
to your update.
Yeah, what's up?
Well,
Can you hear me? Can you hear me
yes,
okay?
loud and clear.
All right. I got my headphones on today.
Great.
Yeah, so really good news. The Eden payout worked fine yesterday for everybody. I was on the stream with Mo. Thank goodness, it's a blessing. As of usual, people come in last minute and stake just to, play the game theory out. But those who even did that were 30% ROI'd in the last minute of the TITANX. And so that was really fantastic to see. Eden has a lot in its payout pools. And that's just, it's going to be even more than that. I think probably next week, right? When we were talking about TITANX not really having any more supply from the stakers coming out, it's like 10 billion or a week or something like that every 10 days or less for a long time. And that's going to be great for everybody's bags. And even, in the TITANX, when you have TITANX as your reward pools and as your buy and burn, it's just going to be pretty substantial to be ramped up in those scenarios. So so that's positive. So that's a good thing. Eden, today about at 1:00 p.m. Eastern time, so like in an hour, the ratio swap gets turned on, and so that will be interesting to see with the arbitrage opportunity for those who want to, trade their Lotus one way for Eden. That's something that's going to be on the migrator tab on eden.win. You don't have to do that. So every time a Lotus token is swapped one way for the ratio swap, that Lotus token is added to the treasury well stake, and that will be migrating the rewards over to the Eden pools on each payout by public call function and smart contract. So that'll be nice. And so basically the treasury stake that's going to happen is 25 million tokens today will be basically locked forever on Lotus. And Lotus is already naturally capped pretty much because the cost just after 31 days. And so that supply is completed, except for a few miners coming out. After yesterday's successful payout on Eden, mining has started back up. I was looking at it this morning. So that's positive for the reward pools as well. And also when the ratio swap happens today, it is 1-to-1. We will be burning those 25 million Eden tokens as well, just so everybody knows. It's not going to be an inflation supply that comes out on Eden. So that's really my updates on those two protocols, and we can talk about Shaolin maybe a little bit more in the discussion phase, if that's all right with you, Plane.
Of course, definitely. So that's great. Thanks for the update on the Eden side, and I hope that that the import of this is really felt, and that is of course Lotus and Eden. Eden being the staking protocol, but the payouts really were quite significant. And yes, it's I must say well done for sort of turning this around, pulling it off, and really of course these staking payout pools were preloaded with over 200 or about 200 200 billion TITANX tokens each. And yes, it's great news that it all has worked quite well, and I think now it's really looking forward to bigger, better things ahead. So good. I think of course the Lotus Eden kingdom, of course, with Shaolin, when of course you you give us more update on that. That kingdom, which is tied to Vault, is definitely tied to Vault and TITANX, parent. It'll be really, really good to to definitely give us a bit more update
Sure.
later on.
I know Mike Dean's super busy, but he's building a Dune thing for Eden, so that'll be really cool.
Okay.
And just to mention, because TITANX is down about 50%, it's creeping back up, and we all know where it's going to go once the supply starts coming out. Just the bi-weekly Eden Bloom Award, which gets paid out in about 7 days from now, I guess. I mean, that's a 20K that they'll go to, one staker or two right there, so most likely that'll probably, just not financial advice, we really don't know, but that most likely could be around 40 to 50 to 60,000, now that mining's picked up and confidence has been restored in the Eden protocol. So, yeah, because if you remember, Rich Landon, he got the first one from the Lotus protocol, and it was about $80,000. So that was pretty nice payday for somebody. So
correct. Well, good. Thanks again for the update, and definitely we're definitely looking forward to your further updates on this. It's great. So okay, so we're moving on to the next phase. And that is really discussions on anything that the community may want to discuss. I must say, since the daylight saving, time ended, and clocks moved backwards, and we in certain parts of the world, and we so the timing of the start of these spaces, pretty much for certain parts of the world, it was simply an hour earlier. I know that has affected people attending and participating as they would like to. But of course, we have these spaces recorded and they could be played back, which of course happens. But we really do need to have the input of the community as to how we feel and what we think about the various protocols and activities going on within the ecosystem generally. I think the only way we can improve is through these sort of discussions and sounding out opinions. So even if one is not able to attend and they play this back later on, I think dropping a comment or dropping comments in the comment section would be appreciated as well. But yes, the floor is open, and I definitely look forward to getting some really good input from everyone. It's good. Okay, so does anyone have any questions, observations? We've had two significant, say three significant protocols go live within the last few days. And we've had, I think we had Eden go live, we had X28, and we have Shogun. So I'm sure there must be some feedback or comments here. And of course, we all are aware that we're expecting Ouroboros and that's the borrowing, for those of us who are new, borrowing, lending, and stablecoin protocol. I believe that has been put back now, or pushed back by 3 weeks. I think that the founder wants to get an additional audit on the protocol. And according to, I was reading the sort of chat in Telegram, and he was suggesting that I think by the end of it, it would be about 9 to 10 audits that he would have had on the protocol. But that is needed for a protocol of that significance to the ecosystem. But the point is, over the course of this month, we are expecting some significant protocols to go live, and that's really it. We've got the Mike's Matrix, which we're all looking forward to. And so, yes, there's some really exciting times ahead. So please feel free to raise any questions. This is the time. And if not, then I will sort of give the floor to Rain to explain Shaolin to us. Give us that. Yes, this could be a good time to give us that update. In the meantime, I mean, if anyone has any questions, please let us know. We'll bring you up and we'll take it from there. Rainman, are you ready to give us a bit more on Shaolin? Okay,
Yeah.
great.
If you guys want to hear it, yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. So, I know it's been a little bit controversial with me believing in the fact that we need to go a little sideways and have some more cornerstones of Ethereum into the TITANX ecosystem. And, the Shaolin protocol, despite intimidation and blackmail and names being called and whatnot, is the way I perceive it. I have no fear in things like that because change is inevitable and trees can only grow so tall without having wide roots. And I will say that Shaolin is a user-centric based protocol, and 30% of the Ethereum that comes into Shaolin goes into TITANX ecosystem. All right. And as far as the game theory and tokenomics are concerned, there's things that I decided last night that we're basically flipping the entire script. And, we have the Bloom reward in Eden, we have the Bloom reward in Lotus, and it was for stakers. And we've decided, and I'll post these, and I'll post the white paper down below later. But now they're going to be for miners, to incentivize miners with rewards and to incentivize, which will also incentivize stakers because the pools will be filled by the incentivized miners, which is very interesting. And I'll just do some screenshots and throw them in there. And, the reason for this is at the beginning of this, as we discussed, 10 protocols, no big deal, TITANX input, but now we're going to have over 40 protocols, guys, in the ecosystem with one exit door. And we need more than one exit door for everybody. And we need more cornerstones, I believe, in the ecosystem. I believe this strongly. It's not something, when I announced it last week, I wasn't even thinking about, hey, let me get Ethereum into my protocol, right? Not one single bit. It was, how can we sustain this and how can this be even longer? And as a builder, I believe in freedom and DeFi, and I'm not going to stop, doing that because, people make name calling or bash my protocols, publicly, who have influence. I'm just not going to do that because I believe that what I'm doing is in the best interest of the community. And if you'll just humor me on this, it just reminds me, there's a story about a dog, and the dog was chained to a tree its whole life by its owner. And all the dog could do was only go 7 or 8 feet out from the tree and go circles around the tree. And one day people came and they found the dog, and they took the collar off the dog, and they thought the dog would just run free and be gone like the wind and live its life. But instead, the dog just sat there, and it just circled around the same tree because that's all it ever knew. It was programmed to know that because it was scared of, it was fear, paralyzed by fear, and scared of change. And if we're going to keep innovating in this, we cannot be scared of those two things. And
Rainman,
and that's what I'll tell you. Yeah.
Sorry, you broke up a bit there. We lost a little bit of that. Sort of 10 seconds
And-
there. It went off. Yes.
Yeah, sorry, I had a phone call come in. I deleted it. Sorry. Yeah. So basically, at the very, the dog that was set free that they thought would run just circled around the tree still, because that's all it ever knew. It was programmed that that's all it ever knew. And it was out of fear, it was paralyzed to go further. And change is not something that we should fear in an innovative DeFi space. And dictatorship is not something that should be involved in an innovative DeFi space. And everything you've ever wanted is on the other side of all your fears. That's what I'll say. And I'm moving forward with Shaolin, and you don't have to support it, but I believe it's the right thing for the ecosystem. And there's nothing in this world that's going to stop me from building what I think is best for everything in the ecosystem, as I've done from day one. So I'll just leave that there. And I just wanted to use some analogies on that to be clear. I believe I'm a user-centric builder and have the best interests of the ecosystem at heart. So.
Great. Well, Rainman, I must say, thanks for the update. And I really want to just again go over what the tokenomics of Shaolin is, but just the general comments that you're making. It's clear. I mean, it's this is a decentralized space, as you know. So I think the talk of dictatorship would simply not fit in the space here. You've built two, protocols.
Blaze, Inferno.
Sorry, yes, of course.
Yeah,
Blaze, Inferno.
Lotus,
correct.
Lotus was number one in the world for 7 or 8 days. So
Correct.
I mean.
So I don't even think that the issue even arises when it comes, with you. I mean, I don't know what the background. I mean, I don't know the full background here, but I mean, you have a track record. I mean, the Blaze team. I mean, Steve, of course. I mean, so the contribution that you've made to the ecosystem could stand up against any here. So please don't feel at all, don't feel at all that you are, you're being either restrained or the growth of the protocols that you've launched, that the growth of that is being in any way undermined. And if it is, then I think I'm sure that could easily be cleared up. And that is why these sort of discussions are important before these things fester and become a major issue within the ecosystem. I think from my perspective that the initial idea, I mean, the idea you shared with respect to Shaolin is definitely a really good idea. That was my view originally. I would like to find out, I'd like to know exactly, what the changes that you've made and things.
Sure.
Things like that. And I must say the rationale for me was this. And of course, you were going to come with a bit more information, and I know that things were probably going to shape up. You're looking at early next year anyway to launch it.
Yeah.
So, but my rationale is this: that you have here now, I think it's about 23 or 24 protocols built on TITANX. Where we were last quarter of last year and first quarter of this year is very different to where we are today, fourth quarter. Where TITANX has really, TITANX is established, and we definitely have grown quicker than and even in terms of we've grown quicker than we ever expected. If you look at the build on TITANX protocols, it tells the story, and therefore for builders like yourself who are really established within the ecosystem, who want to explore in order to benefit the ecosystem, in my view, that could be supported, particularly given that you've given a full disclosure as to what you're trying to achieve here. So I don't see when it name calling and so on is, I don't think that even arises at all. I mean, discussions could be had in terms of how to tweak things here and there, but I mean, apologies if you feel, that way. I'm really sorry that you really, whatever has
Well, no,
transpired
it's
has
okay.
made that, yeah, has
I
made that,
appreciate your kind words, and to state, that people might think I'm some kind of malicious actor,
not
it's
at all.
just I don't believe that.
Absolutely not.
And it wasn't. I was shocked when I saw some of the things that were written, and I know people are, fear of change is real, but you can't let it dominate, or we'd still be driving Model Ts, around. And I will run through a breakdown of the Ethereum
Yes,
distribution if you'd like to hear it real quick. It's
please.
pretty short.
For the
Okay.
benefit of everyone, we could,
Yeah.
yes, let's do that.
Okay.
Okay.
So 10% of the Ethereum that comes in will form a Shaolin TITANX full range liquidity pair, 5% each on each side. All right. 10% of the Ethereum that comes in will buy TITANX and send it to the Eden buy and burn, one of my sub communities. 10% of the Ethereum that comes in will buy TITANX and go to the Lotus buy and burn. All right. So that's 30% of the Ethereum that comes into the protocol going to build on TITANX protocols, including this one. Shaolin itself will have a 40% buy and burn. It's fully decentralized. And so the miners in this situation, the max miners are only 100 days. So I'm trying to play this game theory around when we might think the bull market is up. So I want people to be able to get their tokens back. And there's only going to be a mining period of 88 days. That's it. It'll be over after that. So you can create your own supply. And after 88 days, that's done. And so with that said, there's going to be 2 reward pools. There'll be an 8-day reward pool and a 16-day reward pool. And 17% of the Ethereum gets sent to those reward pools, all right, for stakers. And they just continuously cycle as the mining comes in to feed them. All right. And so you guys know that I had the Bloom reward in Eden, and you know that I had the Bloom reward in Lotus as well. And it was for stakers. And, I've been thinking about this a lot because when we had our staking payout, a lot of people, they mine and then they stake, or they buy off market and they stake at the last minute for game theory reasons. And sure, some people are going to buy the same amount of the token for less, and they're going to get a similar reward that people, paid more for. And that's just crypto. But so what I've decided to do with the Bloom rewards, there's 2 of them in this one. And one of them was, we had some fun with in the Telegram come up with, but 2% of the Ethereum that comes in monthly, it's going to be called the Shaolin Warrior Reward, is going to be sent to 3 miners as a reward instead of stakers. So if you meet the qualifications for that, it's basically just 2 max miners a month, and then you're entered into that pool. And then you would get that reward almost like a staker payout. All right. So that's going to be every month repeating. And what that will do is incentivize miners, which will also help fill the pools, which will incentivize staking. So this is the opposite approach. And so the same thing with the Shaolin, which we're calling the Shaolin Lambo reward on day 88, just for fun. The Shaolin Lambo, the day 88 is when all the mining stops. That's it. 3% of the entire Ethereum that comes into the protocol will be given to someone who has max mined the equivalent of 3 max miners from day 1. So basically 375,000 tokens. And you'll be eligible for that. So on day 88, somebody's probably going to win several $100,000. Or we're going to just ship a Lambo to your house, but I couldn't do it legally. Just for fun. Some people might not want a Lambo. I just want the money, right? So that's what we decided to do. So those are very unique. And, then 8% Genesis, no expectations. And so the staking every 8 days and 16 days is paid out. You can look at the bonuses. You know, there's a buy and burn, and the buy and burn is going to be different as well on the variables. It's kind of like Inferno if you followed that. But what I'm doing is basically Monday to Thursday, it's just going to be 4%. And on Friday, it's only going to be 8%. And when gas is low on the weekends, it's going to be 15% on Saturday and 15% on Sunday. So that way people can really participate without having to worry about, you know, these astronomical gas fees, even on Friday. Because we've been doing 15% on Friday, and it still costs a ton with gas. So we figure, hey, let's just open it up wide open on Saturday and Sunday. Yeah, and so that's kind of it in a nutshell. And you know, so we're forming a pair, you know, with Shaolin and TITANX also. But the main liquidity pair is going to be Shaolin and ETH, and it's going to be full range on Uniswap V3.
Okay. So
Okay,
there are
can I
two
say
pairs.
something to that, please, as well?
Yeah.
So yes, there are two pairs. Just to clarify this, so there's a Shaolin and TITANX pair, and a Shaolin and ETH pair. So the two LPs is what I meant. Is that
Yeah.
correct?
Yes, and
Okay.
hopefully there'll be an Eden and Shaolin, and also a Lotus and Shaolin pair too.
So there'll be other. Okay. I'll pause there for a minute. I think other people may have questions. I know Chiz came up, and I think Vision is also up here as well.
I think Mike had a question too, Plan A. I don't know.
And Mike had a question. Okay.
Yeah.
Mike?
Yeah, I mean,
Yes.
so,
After you, Chiz, and then Vision. Okay.
absolutely, yeah. I mean, so this is like my opinion, and I think this is like let's look at it this way, right? Let's go to the one extreme. The one extreme is just everybody builds their own stuff and they have ETH, right? And the other extreme, or the other alternative, is this is what Bill on TITANX whole idea was, is to have everything tied to TITANX. So the way, let's say you go, if you look at, let's say, Solana, right? It's like the demand for Solana is there because all the meme coins are tied to like Solana in some ways, right? So I think the whole idea with TITANX was, and still is, the tied to TITANX, because if somebody innovate on TITANX, the demand for TITANX will be there. But this is now where a lot of, I believe, a lot of issues come into play now, because you are tied to TITANX, but if you're starting building something outside of it, the target is how many people is like in the whole community is 20,000 people, let's say, right? Is a new project. Essentially, you cannot target new people. It's very hard to get users, really hard to get new users. So the users who are going to be coming in are the TITANX users, and they will have to leave through the TITANX store to get to ETH. So that's why it's like it's going to be very hard for that to actually work in such a way, because like you cannot targeting new people, getting new ETH is very hard. The growth is extremely hard. Like every builder you're going to meet is, okay, how do I innovate something to get the users? And obviously the whole point of like build on TITANX is essentially, okay, you as a builder, you're welcome, and you innovate on this, and you have the benefit of all the users which can participate in some ways. So that's why it's like yeah, like, I mean, for me the interpretation is it's kind of hard, to be honest.
I understand, Mike. You know, and comparing it to the volume and liquidity on Solana, you know, I can understand the analogy, but the volume and the money on Solana is just, you know, billions compared to what it is in the TITANX ETH pool.
Absolutely, but we're building. That's the whole point, right? I mean, is that we're a small community. We're 200,000. It's going to get bigger.
One of the things that we plan to do, you know, it's not easy to bring more people in, but we did bring people in with Lotus when it was, you know, at the top of Ethereum. But we're actually there's some marketing steps that we've been thinking about having ambassadors and trying to bring some people in from Ton Chain, which is a lot of the Asian markets, which are some of these guys in the late nights on my Telegram that moderate, and really reaching out like we did. I mean, we expanded at the beginning of TITANX across like 8 different languages and telegrams, you know. And so, but yeah, that's my goal. But I understand your point, Mike.
Yeah,
Totally.
but that's the
And I
thing is
respect
like
it.
the growth is like we either like this way is like we're going all together in some ways, right? And I mean that's like the issue I'm just seeing there, to be honest, like because you're targeting the same people essentially, and those people will if they want to participate, they will have to like there's only so much let's say money to go around, right? So it's like either you have to exit and then so that you participate, or you bring in new money. And well,
Mike, I think your point definitely. I mean, it is definitely a valid point, and it's been made very, very clearly.
If I can add
I
something,
think
Ryan, also,
vision,
look,
vision,
guys,
bear
we
with me,
need to go to new markets, okay?
vision. Bear with me. I mean, there is always a way
Because
that
right now we just exchanging money from one project from the other to the other.
vision. Let Chiz speak, and then we'll come over to you. It's better just to, in order for this to run smoothly, I think, let's just wait for our turn. Thank you. So I'm going to mute everyone now, and we'll continue. Great. Okay, Chiz, over to you, and after you, Vision, we'll come in. Great. Chiz. We can't hear you if you're saying if. Okay.
Yeah. I'm
okay.
Yeah, I'm
yes, we can hear you now.
Do you guys hear me? You guys hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
I don't really have anything to say about. Yeah, I don't really have much to say here, honestly. So,
Chiz, I think you're breaking up. I don't know. I think it's your location.
Dialogue, but Mike.
Reception is not good. Is long and short of it. Okay. So let's go to Vision, and Vision, over to you. Vision, can you hear me? Okay, great. Okay, I don't know whether Vision can hear me at all, but let me just add just again my view on this. I would say I think we should be open-minded, sufficiently open-minded to receive new ideas. I think the point Mike made is definitely valid. That of course we're building out the ecosystem, and I think the comparison to Solana definitely makes sense. But even though TITANX is, we've said it's like a layer one within a layer one, the underlying layer one here being, of course, Ethereum. So I think that analogy can take us so far. But again, that is an argument that definitely makes sense. That said, we can't discard the argument that has been raised as to how do we attract more ETH into the system. I mean, we saw the same argument early on. I mean, when Hyper initially launched, Hyper was meant to be really a Titan built on TITANX, paying out in TITANX, but it was quite clear we needed to attract more ETH into the system. It was designed to attract more ETH into the system. So you enter the input token, instead of being TITANX, was ETH. And that made sense.
But there's a difference there, though. It's like that ETH, 100% of that ETH buys TITANX. There's a big difference.
Yes, but of course, in at that time, with the level of inflation we're having, that definitely made sense. We're already in this hyper deflationary phase, and as I mentioned, we already with 23 protocols built on TITANX currently, where there's another 22 in the pipeline or more. And so why is it that we can't now say, okay, listen, we're with the growth that we are expecting, let us consider more ideas and be open to these ideas rather than shooting them down, because we really don't know unless we try really what would really work. But what we definitely have identified is that if the only exit is that TITANX and ETH pool, I don't think we've got the satisfactory answer yet. That is actually a sufficient pool that will take us well into the future. Actually, I think Jake has joined, so I think it'll be good, yes, to have his view. But in effect, that is an odd, yeah, Desk, I definitely see your hand up. I will say that is my view. But again, open-minded, would like to see what we come up with here. Now, can I say, Desk, do you mind if Jake kind of steps in and contributes, and then after Jake, you could. Great, thank you, Jake.
Yo, can you hear me?
How are you? Yes, loud and clear.
Yeah, so this conversation about Ethereum is using Ethereum as an input token is not the issue. The issue is if the Ethereum leaves the system. So the way Hyper is different is Ethereum enters Hyper, and then that Ethereum buys TITANX. So the issue with using Ethereum and not using it to buy TITANX or X28, for example, is that if a protocol launches in the TITANX ecosystem and they go on TITANX streams, they market to the TITANX community, the only people that know about them are TITANX people, well, where does that Ethereum come from? It comes from selling down TITANX to get Ethereum. So it makes sense if you reach new people, but if all the marketing is within the community, the only place to get the Ethereum, because launching a smart contract on-chain does not magically attract Ethereum. It's the audience that brings Ethereum, and the audience is the TITANX community. So the only way that Ethereum makes sense is by using it like Hyper to buy back ecosystem assets. The issue is not the Ethereum input token, it's the Ethereum leaving the system. So by bringing it back in, it becomes net beneficial instead of net negative, if that makes sense.
Okay, so what about, there is a good chance that the Ethereum that is generated could be really reinvested in the system. I mean, if we look at with TITANX, when Ethereum was pretty much, the payouts were in Ethereum. I mean, pretty much, frankly, yes, quite a lot went out, but there was quite a lot that was kept within the system. And now that we're a year plus into the journey, into the TITANX journey, a protocol that is built and is paying out in ETH could actually create a level of stickiness within it, can actually attract a level of participation in the ecosystem that we otherwise would not have.
That is only true if you reach people outside the ecosystem.
Okay,
Ethereum doesn't magically grow on trees. So if somebody is starting
no one is suggesting that. But precisely the point is this: that if the ecosystem is paying out in ETH, it can attract people outside the ecosystem. Absolutely.
If there is marketing outside the ecosystem, that's the key.
But I mean, why wouldn't there be? Why do we assume that there wouldn't be? The whole point of us here is growing this ecosystem.
Yes.
And of course, growing this ecosystem would mean us out, reaching out to people who are not within the ecosystem. So I'd rather us not operate from that, the perspective of fear. That listen, that it was just within the ecosystem. It's just that focusing on just those who are within the ecosystem.
The Ethereum has to come from outside. That's correct. One. And then where the Ethereum goes is the most important part. Because what happens is, if you create a protocol on TITANX and you make the pool wrap the Ethereum that token, what happens in the Uniswap router is, let's say I have TITANX, I want to go into that protocol, I want to buy the token. The Uniswap router will sell TITANX into Ethereum and then use Ethereum to buy that other thing. So you have well-intentioned users indirectly selling down TITANX without knowing it. It's a very cannibalistic design, which is why we had the vertically stacked liquidity pools. So it keeps all the value within the ecosystem. It routes through the ratios. It's beneficial instead of net negative. So the whole build on TITANX ethos is what keeps the system so bulletproof. The moment we start breaking that,
Jake,
that's where the issues come in.
Jake, do you see any risk with this a single point of failure where we have this one pool serving?
But that exists everywhere. The only pool for Ethereum is US dollar. What's the difference?
Okay, so for a very young, very thin, literally, pretty much within our ecosystem here, as we are a very thin liquidity pool.
Well, it's not thin. Like, where did this come from? Like, who said this? We have 8.8 times more liquidity. We have 8.8 times more liquidity than Bitcoin, relatively. Or liquidity is super healthy. We have one of the highest liquidity to market cap ratios of all ecosystems.
Look at what happened the last dump that we had, and everyone has a dump. I mean, I pretty much am not that bothered about it, but pretty much your investigation into this came up with it wasn't the stakers that were dumping. It was just apparently just two or so whales within Volt and Dragonet were enough to shake the system.
This is the issue. This is all incorrect information. It was not two whales, it was two protocols. And it was like 50, 60 people within those protocols.
Okay.
That's
I mean,
normal.
okay.
Like if
I stand corrected. So it's two protocols, Volt and TITANX. Okay. It was Volt and TITANX, but do you not see, I mean, how do you propose that, therefore, to kind of make, to be kind of more robust to prevent that happening, say, if people want to exit in those sort of numbers in the future?
Well, there is no issue. There's dips everywhere. You're not gonna solve dips by building community drainers. That's solving a problem by building another problem.
Okay. Are there any other views? Are there any other views to contribute here? I mean, is it?
Yes, I can come in too. I've been having my hand up.
Please feel free. Yes, over to you.
Yeah, we've talked about this. I know some of you guys, you already talked in the private chat. I know that's how the game goes. There's nothing to be said to convince some of you because you don't talk openly. You talk in private chat and private calls. So like Jake is saying, there is no this. Can you say, okay, pulse chain, for instance, everything is paired with pulse chain, right? ETH, the same thing. What is it? Solana, the same thing. Every protocol is the same thing. So why people that want to sell, they will sell. People that want to hold, we hold. You cannot stop that. But once you start getting people outside the community, you are already draining that community. Okay, if you want to bring ETH into TITANX, go outside TITANX and market your product. Don't market it in the TITANX ecosystem if you claim that you want to bring in new ETH. Because what you're doing actually is you are making the TITANX community to sell down whatever protocol in the TITANX community they have to ETH to get into your product. It's a no-brainer. You guys stop talking in the private chat and come here to try to convince people. Go get money from outside and bring it in. Yeah. Don't get money from the community here and pretend you want to help out.
Dude, every single person sells down TITANX for ETH every single
That's
day.
cool. Then
It's
do you want to
insane.
contribute?
It's insane.
Do you want to
consider that
contribute
we're
to
going
the
to
sell
go
down?
vertical? 40 protocols vertical and have one exit door. It's absolutely insanity. I'm sorry, you guys are
one
blind.
exit door, right?
There's-
Nobody's stopping
there's-
you
there-
from
there's-
doing what
sorry,
you want to do, but
let's
go
not speak over
outside
each
TITANX.
Please, let's not talk over each other. I mean, there are different views here. That's all. We don't need to shout over and talk over each other. So you have your view and Rainman has his view. Please, let's just not shout over each other because we still have to continue with this community. We still have to make this thing a success. After this session, we still need to continue to build TITANX to become what we know it can become. So let us just please keep the tone respectful and keep it, keep the conversation going. Thank you.
Sorry,
Okay.
Des. Sorry, Des. I apologize for being rude to you, but I will go outside the community. That's one of my main goals, and I mentioned that too. So just so you know.
But
That sounds good.
I
Stop
think
preaching
we're
it to
kind
us.
of
That's good.
I think we're kind of getting distracted on the topic. The issue is not using Ethereum as input. The issue is when Ethereum comes in, one, it's a wrapped Ethereum token pools that force well-intentioned positive users to sell down TITANX indirectly to the Uniswap router. That's one. The second one is Hyper uses Ethereum and attracts audiences outside of TITANX because it uses Ethereum as an input. But then in the back end, that Ethereum buys TITANX, burns 20%. And that way you can attract new Ethereum into the system without selling down. And for example, if somebody buys Hyper with TITANX, it doesn't go TITANX, sell into Ethereum, and Ethereum buys Hyper. It just goes TITANX Hyper, so there's never any sell down. So the issue is not Ethereum as an input token, it's what happens and what's the pair and what comes back into the ecosystem. That's the biggest thing.
Great. Okay, Jake, how about the tokenomics that we discussed with that Shaolin? What do you think of that? I mean, the pairing, the multiple pairs. There's going to be a TITANX Shaolin pair, an ETH Shaolin pair, and of course Eden Shaolin and others. Rainman, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what I understood, from the discussion earlier here. What would be your view of those multiple pairs or multiple LPs? If of course, Rainman eventually implements exactly what's been discussed here earlier. What would be your view on that?
So if you want to bring a new Ethereum into the system, which is totally fine, get rid of the Ethereum pair on Shaolin, use the Ethereum to buy TITANX, for example. You can split it like Titan, where you use Ethereum as input, 62% buys Ethereum, buys Shaolin, burns it, and then the other 28% goes into Ethereum payouts. So you can still have Ethereum payouts and Ethereum input, but in the back end, it supports the ecosystem. And then the big question is, if you're attracting Ethereum, it depends on what community you're talking into. If you're going on TITANX streams and you're going on TITANX spaces and all your tweets are TITANX, well, then you're not attracting and talking to people outside of the community. So the only Ethereum you're targeting is essentially the community, and it becomes a drainer.
I would agree with that, but a lot of people don't come into TITANX is because, and I do trust you with the buy and burn keys and what you're doing, they want to be decentralized. All right. And so that in itself is going to bring in more users to have something that's completely decentralized. All right. So, and that's not like a dig or anything, but that is one thing that needs to happen. I mean, I've been told by tons of people that, well, we don't want to do that because of XYZ, and don't take that personally, but that's the reason, man.
But this is interesting. So the deflationary statistics I shared on TITANX, only 3 to 5% of that is buy and burn. 95% of the burning comes from protocols. So yesterday we burned $1.2 million of TITANX through TITANX being used in protocols like Shogun, X28, all the other protocols. That is burned. That's an $80 million asset. That's 1.3% of the supply burned in one day, a 24-hour period. So the buy and burn is completely irrelevant. It's a backstop to the system. It's a safety in the system so that if anything goes wrong, that's there. It's made for safety. And then Shogun buy and burn, for example, is fully decentralized. Like, adoption is up. Like, if you look at the adoption metrics, we're growing 24 hours, 7 days, 30 days. All the adoption metrics are up. We're 1% of all the volume across Ethereum. So everybody's talking about adoption is looking bad. But when you look at the actual data, adoption is great. Nothing's stopping anybody from doing anything. Dips are in the game. Dips are normal. Bitcoin went down 80% over 12 times. That doesn't mean Bitcoin is bad or it had an issue.
Yeah, I agree. Adoption is good. I mean, and it will be even better with more Ethereum in the system. That's my opinion. So I agree.
Well,
Adoption
then
is
make
good.
the Ethereum go into the system instead of away from the system. That's my point.
Well, 30% of it is going into the system.
Yeah, but where does the 70% go? And what if somebody wants to sell TITANX for Shaolin? Then indirectly, they're selling TITANX into Ethereum into Shaolin. You're making well-intentioned users into bad actors. And that's the issue. It's building a drainer instead of a builder.
I disagree, but I respect your opinion.
Hey guys, if you could listen to me for a second, I could give you good ideas. Besides, you can tell.
Dragon, over to you.
Yeah, congratulations, guys, for what you are doing. And this is short. I think that a good way of market TITANX ecosystem is to go outside of the comfort zone. I mean, to do like talkings with other people from other ecosystems to debate with them. And it would be also a good idea if, I mean, Jake and the other developers, they can go and start to debate against, for example, Ivan on Tech or other guys that will ask the hard questions, and you can use your respectful language to start attracting more people into the ecosystem. I mean, like Richard Hart did in the old days, but with your own language. Yeah, you know, you are more respectful, and you are super smart. So when people from other chains start to knowing more about TITANX ecosystem, they will put their ETH into our coins over here. Thanks.
Yeah, exactly. And so Twitter marketing is massive. Like around in the last 90 days, I've had 9 million impressions. So if you assume it's like 10 impressions per user, we're reaching a lot of people. And especially if the community retweets and likes, etc. That's why adoption is up. Like we're gaining users every day, every week, every month, every 90 days. Like it's just literally a straight line up, the users. So there's no adoption issues, there's no liquidity issues. We have more relative liquidity than Bitcoin. And then the other thing is, one of the things that people argue is, oh, if somebody sells Volt for Ethereum, for example, they're like, yeah, but that's like $30 million of market cap that gets sold into TITANX. But the Volt TITANX liquidity pool operates under the same rules as the TITANX wrapped Ethereum pool. If there's only $1 million of TITANX in that pool, only $1 million can get sold into. So that there is no issue. Like the TITANX that exists in the liquidity pools for other protocols to sell into, that is also the cap of the value that can get extracted into that protocol. I think people miss that mark a lot. Like the same rules that apply to the TITANX wrapped Ethereum pool apply to all the protocol pools. You can only take out the TITANX that is in that pool. Same way you can only take out the Ethereum that is in the TITANX pool.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys can hear me. Can you guys hear me at this point?
Yep.
Yes. Who's speaking?
All right. So I just want to weigh in here.
Oh,
It's
yes.
the
Cheers.
tenor of the dialogue that I'm cool with, which is, in this case, Rainman and Jake having a dialogue, right? That's what's the critical thing. And then I trust the ethos and each individual, because this is DeFi, to make good decisions. But it's the tenor of the dialogue. The thing that I'm not cool with, hold on. The thing I'm not cool with is the thing I've never been cool with, and I will never be cool with. Just like when Jake was attacked, like for being a high integrity builder and doing what he thought was right. And I was like, no, man, back off. Don't talk about his family. That's unacceptable. Just like when Eric was trying to fix a problem, he was well-intentioned and yet he got serious personal attacks, right? So the thing that I'm not cool with are personal attacks and projection of intentionality, meaning, oh, it's a malicious or it's a this, or no, it's not. So for me, these dialogues are critical. I do think that we're at a critical stage and there's no fear. Like at this point, we have built up around TITANX like the number one DeFi asset on the planet, potentially. And so I'm willing to ride that horse. The thing is that what we want to be doing increasingly, and typically not in public spaces. X is a really weak, pardon the language, fucking space to work out innovation. I mean, it's a great place to market. It's a great place to get an echo chamber going, but it's not the place. And so Dragon said, hey, let's go out with big brains and small brains and start, educating each other and listening. Because what I see here is there's no need
for the name calling and the targeting of builders. Builders need some space to innovate and build. And yes, I will back you, Jake, 100%. And Rainman, I'll back you guys as long as you guys stay in a dialogue, right? So that's the critical thing for me. And that's what I think makes this, ecosystem valuable, is that what Jake has done is nothing's fucking perfect, guys and gals and everyone, but boy, it's a work of art. And what we want to be doing is stay in it and keep on in the dialogue. And when we stay in the dialogue and don't attack the human, but we can attack ideas a lot. There's a way to, challenge ideas that don't attack the person. And then the people, we adapt. That's how culture works. The humans adapt to a dominant culture if it has high principles. So, and so anyway, I like the dialogue. I'm not someone that thinks anyone has the truth. What I like is each individual has their own perspective, and we respect all the perspectives of anyone who chooses to be in the TITANX ecosystem. And I'm choosing to be here. I've chosen to be here just like Mike in Plan A and Jake from day one and Rainman from day one, right? Everyone's been here on the long haul, and now's the critical time to go slow to go fast. Jake has just freaking launched a huge freaking protocol, okay? And it's an innovation. It's an innovation that integrates his thinking and element 280 thinking and Volt technology. And he's like, I don't know if you guys know hip hop, but this is like hip hop, right? This is how hip hop flows, which is like you just have to sort of go with the flow sometimes, and stay within the culture, which is a culture of dignity and respect for all. And when I see fucking targeting on X, I'm like, no fucking way. So for me, that's all I got. Peace out, y'all.
Great, cheers. My God, I mean, I can't add anything to that at all. I mean, Jake has built something phenomenal here, and you know that anybody who comes with any sort of nonsense attacking Jake here, I mean, we have, I mean, I definitely have taken them to task throughout the year, without exception, and so, and that is the community we are. We're not afraid to debate ideas. But we're definitely not, we're no pushovers. And so if someone comes in here attacking Jake or anybody else, we're going to take them to task. And so that's good. And so Rainman, definitely, I've seen the beauty of what he's created. And of course, and Rainman, apologies when I absolutely, Inferno, absolutely, Blaze, you're definitely there. And during the times where things were not really, things were still in their infancy, and you've been here right through. I can honestly remember this, and I can say one reason why Rainman really stands out for me throughout this entire experience. And there was a time when it was attacks on Jake. Now, and I found those very unfair attacks and had no basis. But there's one occasion where someone was going at it, and I was responding to them, and really taking them to task on it. And it really came to a point where it became circular. And Rainman stepped in and said to the guy, you know what? If you don't want to participate in TITANX, there are other protocols you can go to. Just go. You can go to other protocols. And that was so liberating. I used that for quite, many months after that. You know what? If you're here attacking Jake, attacking the protocol, and you don't see anything good in what is happening here, when in fact Jake had with TITANX had raised the standard above anybody else, maybe apart from Bitcoin itself, but anybody else within this entire industry, and you continue to attack him, you know what? You can go somewhere else. And so, as a community, we have really come a long way. If there are any ideas, Rainman comes up with an idea here, of course we exhaust it. We exhaust and learn from each other. But just exactly as you've mentioned, the name calling must be put aside. I mean, there have been instances here where people's families have been threatened. I mean, I would like to believe those people, those who are doing the threatening, are not really from the TITANX community, because that's not what we are about at all. But anyway, I think moving on, this is a conversation that can continue. I would say we want to encourage our builders to innovate. If there are concerns, it is important for them to air these concerns. I would rather our builders air the concerns rather than walk away or keep it to themselves and simply exit the community. If there are discussions that we need to have like this, let us have these discussions. Let's find ways we can accommodate ideas that definitely can power the community. And I think with Rainman, given his history with the community, with as a builder, I mean, I will never impute bad intentions to Rainman or Rainman's ideas. No, I'll say, I mean, Rainman, if you can defend these ideas, bring them to the village square. Let us debate them. I mean, and let them stand or fall on their merits. So I think on that note, yes, Des, I see you have your hand up, and then we'll go to Vision. That's okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, just like we've already spoken, Raymond, we are not against your ideas, but I would strongly suggest listen to Jake, right? It's all why we are talking about this thing is because we are so passionate about this community. And if we spot we all have different opinions on how things will go. But I think Jake has the most, he wants the most out of this ecosystem, as much as everyone else do, including you, Raymond. So what we are saying is, go back to the drawing board if you can. Make most of those ETH work for TITANX ecosystem, because 30%, bro, it's not much. But so listen to Jake. He's not going to give you bad ideas. And whatever you do to benefit the ecosystem, we are going to love it. You're helping everybody out. Okay. The ETH, I'm not going to be repeating myself. Like he said already, the ETH input is not the issue, but how it's being used is the issue. So, go back and see what you can do and come back to the table if you can. If you want to, if you don't want to, that's fine. And then we can keep on this issue and we get it right at some point.
Thanks, Des. Let's move to Steve DeFi. Yeah, over to you.
Yeah, I've got a really, really good idea that I've been saying I've had it for a while. Implemented it this week. It is such a good idea, which kind of speaks into this whole issue. And I'm kind of torn. Do I share it now, or I wanted the big reveal? I wanted the big reveal with Mo. But I've got I've implemented. I stopped. I don't know if I told Jake, but I stopped the wheel audit this week to implement this idea. I'll just share it and then tune in with Mo. I share the big macro, and then tune in with Mo.
Please do. I know Mo is in the spaces, by the way. Sorry, I'm not talking. But
I'm going to be with Mo tomorrow or whenever he's free. I'm going to be on with him to share. But this is basically the idea. Look, for the wheel, because there could be a problem of multiple Ethereum pools is going to sell down tokens unintentionally. So I understand. That's what I've been trying to. That's what I understand. But so I've got this solution, and for the wheel, I wanted to take Ethereum and TITANX, and the auction is going to be divided between the two. So 100 million a day. It's going to be the same vault technology, but 100 million a day divided between Ethereum and TITANX with two ROIs. 100% of value in goes into Titan Farms. 100%. So 100% of the value of the buy and burn. So the buy and burn is now locked in Titan Farms, collecting ROI, boosting the liquidity pool of TITANX massively, because all value in is TITANX or Ethereum, and it's paired into this. The buy and burn for the wheel is paired with together in Titan Farms, collecting ROI, collecting TINK for the protocol too. So what's going to happen every day is the buy and burn is going to be used the same way, but 15%, that's what we have involved. 15% a day will be taken out of farms and used for the buy and burn that day. The rest just sits there in farms, boosting the LP of TITANX. I mean, boosting the valuable TITANX Ethereum LP, but collecting yield for the protocol, still used exactly the same way. The buy and burn is used exactly the same way, except instead of the buy and burn value just sitting in a contract, it's sitting in Titan Farms in an LP pool in a V3 full range. So this is the wheel coming to TITANX. That's my idea. And this was the paradigm revolution I had. I thought that's it, because why waste a buy and burn just sitting there doing nothing when it can be collecting fees? And it's not only collecting fees, it's solving the whole issue that you're bringing up, everyone's talking about. It's solving the issue because all that value is now in that TITANX Ethereum liquidity pool. So Jake, what do you think?
Yeah, so this is an example of directly solving a problem. So in the other example of the other protocol was, we want to add liquidity to TITANX and we want to bring new Ethereum in. So what will we do? We'll force users to sell down TITANX into Ethereum and then put that Ethereum somewhere else. That's building a problem on top of a problem. The thing that Steve was talking about is the Ethereum comes in and then directly goes and adds liquidity. That's as direct of a solution as you can get. So that is a solution. I like that idea a lot. I think it's cool.
Yeah. Mo, I'm on with Mo. And there's another idea that we're doing a protocol I'm building, actually on farms. And I'm going to be on with Mo. So tune in for all the scoop. So I just wanted to share because it really spoke into this whole discussion. And I can't keep a mouth shut with some things. But yeah.
Wait, Steve. So the Ethereum and TITANX, they go into Titan Farms, and then the TINK gets used to buy and burn wheel.
The TINK, that's just like an extra. That's going to be an extra thing. So, what happens is the TINK is just going to be used as like a lottery. So it's just a lottery, and then Vipers can enter. Viper users can come and enter for a lottery. It's just like a lottery, or a reward pool or something like that. It's just the TINK is just really an extra thing to help the protocol. But every day, 15% of that value is taken out to buy and burn wheel token. So 15% of the Ethereum and TITANX combined is taken out in exactly the same way it would be used if it was just sitting in a contract. But just like, we'll pick a number, but let's say 10% or so. The value coming to the protocol the liquidity pool will never go below 10%. So 10% is, or 5%, or however much is programmed in, is just going to be locked. You know what I mean? Instead of burning it's just going to be locked in that liquidity pool. But it's still locked. It's still the same thing, but be locked with ETH. So just in summary, 100% of that of real value gets put into the Titan Farms Ethereum TITANX LP. But that's the buy and burn. So it's the buy and, instead of the buy and burn sitting in a wallet, it's sitting in Titan Farms LP, collecting extra value from. It's basically boosting up the liquidity. It's a win-win for TITANX. It's boosting up the TITANX Ethereum LP. It's a win for farms because they get more liquidity. It's a win for the user of the protocol because they're getting an extra APR from the TINK, which can be used in the wheel protocol in some creative way. And there's no loss to the user of the protocol, but it's a win for everyone else, and it's a win for the user of the protocol because they're getting yield. So it's just I thought it's a bit of a waste, this buy and burn thing in a contract. That's all. So I wanted to use it in a way to get yield.
I think there's a better solution because I like the general idea.
Mm.
But the best idea, so if you want to add liquidity, then don't pull liquidity. It's like solution and then make the solution disappear. I think it's better to put the wrapped Ethereum TITANX smart contract into farm and then use the Tink to buy and burn wheel. Just set up a Tink wheel pool. And that way you have a forever buyer of wheel instead of liquidity that just appears and disappears.
That's actually another protocol I'm doing, but it's not like it wouldn't disappear completely because instead of burning the TITANX, the TITANX Ethereum would be locked in, so the buy and burn amount would never go below a certain amount. So if
what would be a better scenario? So you have that amount of buy and burn going down, or wrapped Ethereum TITANX farms, and then you have a forever buyer of Tink that never runs out. That's better for the long term of the protocol. So instead of like $1 million of value over the period of 2 months, you can have $1 million of value every year forever. Buying and burning. Just by keeping it in there and using your Tink to buy and burn.
Yeah. I don't want to spill too many beans. That's actually another protocol that I've got doing with Jake. But yeah. But I wanted what I wanted with the wheel was the buy and burn. It was more like icing on the cake. It was more just icing on the cake, getting that yield. But I know I like what you're saying too, because it's what I've been thinking too a lot is in the year 2025, I think utility is going to come to TITANX because we create a lot of these games like GameFi, MemeFi, and sometimes it's circulating value a little bit, but utility is value from the protocol itself, like just what we're talking about, yield from Titan Farms, or it could be the Morpheus guys doing their DEX aggregator. That's a valuable. Mike Dean's thing, Swappy has is a utility. So it's that type of utility that I think in year 2025, I think it could be the year of utility for TITANX. I think that's where we could be moving as builders too, and as a ecosystem. And what I mean by that is a generation of value from the protocol itself, rather than the value being generated from outside. So the wheel was a bridge to that, but not explicitly that, in a way.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I mean, in utility, you don't really have that many options. You have multi-collateral borrowing and lending, which is coming with Ouroboros. Then you have farms. That's utility. And then another utility you have is DEXs. That's pretty much the 3 big utilities in crypto. So we're going to have all 3 of them. The DEX that buy and burns the ecosystem, multi-collateral lending on all the big liquidity assets in the ecosystem. And then we have farms. A buy and burn farm, like the best DeFi farm in existence, basically. I've never seen anything like it. So we already have, once Ouroboros is out, we have the 3 big, Ouroboros and the DEX aggregator. We've got the 3 big utilities. And the only utility that's missing is its own chain. So who knows?
Great. I mean, Steve, DeFi, do you have anything else to add to that?
Tune with the Mo.
We'll wait for your. Okay, good.
Oh yeah, just tune with the Mo, and let's keep the conversation going. Let's keep talking. This is
yes, of course. That's the best way, definitely. And Rainman's Shaolin. Again, I think desk from the way I understand Shaolin, it's a staking platform or a staking protocol that will be paying out ETH, and the stickiness of the protocol will be based on, of course, the ETH that it pays out. If we're able to achieve through Shaolin anything close to what, even I say even 20 or 30% of what TITANX was able to achieve in its first 3 months, that level of stickiness would, of course, do the entire ecosystem a world of good. And yes, of course, attracting non-TITANX people or communities would definitely have to be at the center of that. But you need that stickiness in the protocol to attract, in my view, to attract the crowd. And if you're paying out ETH and in a sustainable way, and you can gamify it quite well, then it it could be definitely, it could be a winner. So in any case, let's keep the conversation going. And Rainman, we definitely look forward to hearing more from you, about Shaolin and how you're taking it forward. Do you want to say something?
I appreciate that,
Yeah.
man. And I'll think about it some more. Based off the feedback. I'm still not sold 100% if we can bring in new users, but like I said, I heard everybody's feedback and I respect everybody's opinions. And so cool. Thanks.
Great.
Yeah, because we've seen this play out with Ethereum. So like with Ethereum, for example, they thought that this roll-up centric roadmap would be value accretive to Ethereum. But instead what happened is like, okay, follow the Ethereum ethos, make it decentralized, use Ethereum as the gas fee, etc. Similar to the TITANX, built on TITANX ethos. But what happened in actuality is people launched Arbitrum, people launched all these L2 chains, have their own token, their own native gas token, and then they split a little bit of value back to Ethereum. And then instead of this holistic ecosystem that builds on top of each other and is value accretive, it became dilutive, it became combative, and it became cannibalistic. This is why the ethos was instilled in the first place, because I don't want to go down the road of Ethereum where everything that builds on Ethereum becomes cannibalistic. And that happens when there's forced sell down of TITANX assets to enter into another protocol that is parading as built on TITANX, that is actually forcing users to sell down or indirectly forcing sell down to the Uniswap router by having an Ethereum pair. So like a lot of the ethos is based on shit that has happened in the real world. Like this happened to Ethereum, and the more we become lax on the ethos, the more cannibalistic style protocols come in, and that's when it becomes a downward spiral. Because right now we have a very, very, very positive flywheel. Like with the most hyperdeflationary protocol on all of crypto, numbers are absolutely staggering. We should keep that up. There is no problem. Like people are trying to solve non-existent problems. We're 8 times more liquid than Bitcoin, relatively. We have massive high caliber builders. We have adoption that is not slowing down. 24 hours, 7 hours, 30 days, 7 days, 30 days, 90 days, all are positive. Like adoption is good, liquidity is better than Bitcoin. We're hyperdeflationary, more hyperdeflationary than any protocol on DeFi. And we have amazing marketing on Twitter. So then the only thing that can kill us in the future is getting rid of the ethos and just letting cannibalistic builds out into the universe, similar to what happened with Ethereum. So that's why the ethos was instilled.
I'm just surprised that you don't think we can get new users in with Ethereum when we already have.
Jake, I've got a question. Do you hear me?
Yep.
So the question is, do you understand the need? I totally get what you're saying. And from a user perspective, and do you understand the need for more than one deep liquidity pool with Ethereum and other alpha assets on build on TITANX? Do you understand that need, or do you think it doesn't exist?
Because it doesn't exist. TITANX is the $80 million
Hold on.
asset that has 2 million of Ethereum backing. That is a higher market cap to liquidity ratio than anything else.
Okay, so as a user, I want multiple deep liquidity pools with Ethereum. Hold on. That lives within the ethos. That's what I want. I want an ethos that is built with integrity, how you've done it, and it maybe is not a need, but it's definitely a user want. Right now, I love that TITANX is needed. I'm like very comfortable personally how I see the health and viability and long-term hyper deflationary asset that TITANX is. Like as a user, like the thing that concerns me is as much as I, like anybody, DGen likes leverage on leverage on leverage on leverage, I'm starting to feel this need to, and it's not a need, but I'm starting to feel it as a need. The further I get away from the ETH TITANX pool, the more uncomfortable I get. The more I start getting like questioning, like, where are we in the cycle? You know, how can I protect value? And so when we talk about utility, and so the first question is not really to you, Jake, it's to the builder crew. Do you see the value anywhere of multiple deep Ethereum pools? Now, I got it that you said like there's not a problem. I'm saying, I'm wondering, well, maybe there's, you know, an interest in it. So that's the first thing. And so I'm really curious. Does anybody see that value?
No, I heavily agree. I heavily disagree because what users want and what is good for the protocol are often two different things. If you ask the user what they wanted on their cell phone, they would have said more buttons than you would have never gotten an iPhone. The build on TITANX ethos is designed to make a hyperdeflationary, to value accrue across the entire ecosystem. The stronger TITANX gets, the stronger the entire ecosystem gets by default. Another issue you have with pairing with Ethereum is when TITANX is a 10x, Ethereum doesn't do a 10x, so your protocol lags behind. And instead of a positive flywheel by being built on TITANX, you become a negative flywheel. You don't get the price performance. You don't get the ecosystem adoption because it's not within the ethos. Nobody's going to talk about it because it's not within the ethos. So you just create this negative flywheel and this cannibalistic thing on the side that is non-value accretive, and you don't track TITANX.
That makes sense to me. Yeah, makes sense for sure.
Yeah, so we have plans of making a X28 wrapped Ethereum pool because that makes sense. Because X28 is going to have native pairings with everything across all chains. So, for example, X28 on Solana will have X28 Solana pair. On a Binance Smart Chain, it will have a BNB pair. Like TITANX X28, the core of the... So TITANX is Ethereum only. X28 is Omnichain TITANX. So that will have native pools with every single big chain token. So that the multiple liquidity pool things is already going to be solved. Yeah, it's a non-issue. Like, serious, it's a non-issue.
Also, I feel like nobody complains about the opposite direction when you participate in these protocols and you're forced to route through the TITANX pair, and all the ETH is buying TITANX. Nobody talks about that. They're all worried about when people sell and then they're selling down through the TITANX pair. It's a two-way street. And I agree with Jake that this is a non-issue. There is liquidity there. Compare it to any of the other tokens, and we have liquidity. And it is all a ratio. Like all the pairs that are built on TITANX, they can't just drain the TITANX pool because, like Jake's saying, it's all a ratio, and they're going to drain their own pool, and there's actually not going to be $10 million trying to exit the system. It's going to just, if that were to try to happen, you're basically just running these protocols down to zero, and they're not actually pulling out millions of dollars. So I'm in agreement with all this on Jake's side that what we're doing is working. Like, we don't need to change this. And I agree that bringing in ETH is great. That's why, like, my protocols, you can participate with TITANX or ETH. But the difference being is 100% of that ETH is buying TITANX. It's just making it easier for onboarding. But that's completely different than saying, okay, 30% of the ETH goes to TITANX, 30% of the ETH goes over to something else, and 40 something else. Like, it's 100% buys TITANX, and that's the point that Jake's trying to drive home as well.
Yeah, because you also get this follow-through effect. So, for example, if you pair with TITANX and you accept Ethereum, which is totally fine. Like, the issue was never Ethereum as input. Hyper does the same. Because what happens with the Ethereum? When Hyper buys TITANX, burns 20%, then moves through the stack. But you also get this massive beneficial effect. So if you have multiple protocols built on top of TITANX, they use ETH as input like element 280 where it buys TITANX in the background. You receive all that value of TITANX getting stronger because you're paired with it. You're paired with the ecosystem. So whatever happens with the ecosystem, you benefit from it. Like everybody's only looking to the downside, which is very low. And then the upside is, as things get built on TITANX, as it becomes more and more and more hyperinflationary, I mean, it's already insane, you accrue all that value to your protocol because your main measure of value is TITANX. So if TITANX becomes 10x more valuable, you by default become 10x more valuable. You don't get that if you only have like a 10% pair with TITANX. And then you force users to sell down, etc., etc. There's, yeah, the thing, everybody thinks about, okay, what if I go out? But nobody thinks about what if I go in? It's way, way, way more beneficial on the in way than whatever percentage downside it has on the way out.
It's great. Thanks, Jake, for coming in and taking questions and addressing these issues head on. And I'll say thanks everyone, definitely for participating. I think we've gone past the 2-hour mark, and I think we can start wrapping up now. But really, this has been a riveting discussion and a lot learned. And Rainman, thank you for really coming up and bringing up the topic so that it could be discussed and discussed. Perhaps not exhaustively, but extensively. It's been discussed, and sorry.
Yeah, no, I'm happy to, and I appreciate everybody's feedback, and maybe I'll change something, maybe I won't, and Jake, when we were going back and forth in Telegram the other morning, I don't know how far you read into the white paper, but maybe look at it again. And if you have some suggestions that include Eden and Lotus and not Shogun and X28, I would be open to those because I need to support my sub communities. It doesn't mean I'm going to do it, but I'm just saying I'm open to hearing you more out about it when you have time to look into it a little more, because I know you're busy with X28 launch. So I'll just leave it at that, everybody. And I know we're going over. And I got to unpause the migrator function for the people on Eden's, like 15 minutes behind. So, yeah, I'm going to split here in a second. But I hope you all have a great rest of the day, wherever you're at in the world.
Yeah, I mean, the answer is simple. It's just do whatever element 280, etc. did. But we'll talk about it on Telegram. Like, the issue is not Ethereum as input. It's where it goes.
All right.
And the pairings.
All right. Yeah, cool. All right. Well, yeah. All right. Yeah, like I said, cool. Talk later, everybody. All right. Peace.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Rainman. Thank you. And completely understood. You could go ahead and get what you need to get done.
Early. I'm just 15 minutes behind on the 1 o'clock migrator thing. Just have to unpause on the blockchain real quick. So, all right.
Understood.
Guys. All right, later.
Understood. Great. So we've had extensive discussions here, and I think it's really valuable. I think we can start wrapping up now. If you don't mind, I would like to start with, I'd say Chiz, Desk, of course, Jake, would like to have your, final or closing remarks, and then we'll finish up with Mike going up, to Callum and Dude. But yes, Chiz, your closing remarks.
Okay, he's not speaking. Maybe I will go.
Okay.
Yeah, nothing much, man. I really love the discussions we had today. It was really deep, and this is what makes us different from other communities. And this is not a surprise to me, most especially this discussion. We knew that it would come up at some point, something like this. So yeah. Let's keep it up and keep the discussion going healthy, and make adjustments where needed if possible. And we have great times ahead of us. And I want to thank everybody, Plan A, Jake, you especially for coming up today. I never seen you on space before, so I know for you to come up here, this is very, very crucial. So thanks to you. Thanks, Mike, and Cheers, and everybody else. Element 280, yeah. My stuff, Element 280, I don't even touch that thing. It's there and it's there. Once I get into any protocol, I'm in there and I don't care what it does. So I don't think I've ever said that I love Element 280. I do, and my bags are there untouched. I don't even go to look at what reflections or that it has given me. It's just there. So thank you for that protocol. So yeah, thanks everybody. I don't want to take everybody's time. I just love this community and I would do anything for this community. Nothing I can do anyways other than to voice out how I feel about it. So thank you all.
That was nice.
Great.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Desk. Jake, definitely. Over to you.
I mean, yeah, so the thing that we've been waiting for so goddamn long has finally happened, the hyperdeflationary. Now, hyperdeflationary, it's not just, oh yeah, we're burning 0.01% of the supply like every 2 weeks. Yesterday alone, we burned 1.3% of all existing supply, including stakes. That is insane. In one day, 24 hours, $1.1 million burned. Then if I go over let's do the last 5 days. 5 days ago, we burned 117,000. Then the day after, we burned $810,000. The day after, $600,000. Yesterday, $1.1 million. And today, we've already burned $700,000 on an $80 million asset. We're burning almost 1% of supply a day. This has never, ever, ever been seen in DeFi before. Like, we're redefining what buy and burns mean, and we're redefining what hyperdeflationary means, and we're redefining what it means to be a builder in crypto and building symbiotic systems. Because usually the way building works in crypto is everybody has their own silos. If a user wants to go from one thing to another, you have to sell down that thing to get into another thing, and then it just becomes a cannibalistic circle jerk of like 30 projects stealing each other's and draining each other's economic energy. We're hyperdeflationary, or adoption is up, or liquidity is 8 times higher than Bitcoin. Adoption metrics look amazing. We're hyperdeflationary at a level that's never been seen before in crypto. So for the people that don't know how TITANX gets burned through its usage and protocol, similar to Ethereum, where Ethereum gets burned per transaction you do on Ethereum. TITANX operates differently, where it gets burned every time you interact with a protocol. So those are the numbers I'm talking about. Like, we're burning, yesterday alone, we burned $1.1 million of TITANX through users participating in the protocols built on top of it. That is insane. Like, that is just blows my mind.
Definitely. I saw those numbers and I really was, I mean, this in a few days, really.
Yep.
And this is really just the beginning. We are really now in the hyperdeflationary phase, and even though the prices are not reflective of that, I think when that occurs, and not financial advice, of course, but once the price or the prices of our various protocol catches up to what's really happening, and it's only a question of time, I think it will become even more apparent to everyone. But yes, thanks, Jake. And yes, you've built an awesome ecosystem. I love these debates as well. Desk, absolutely. I sort of echo what you've said. These sort of debates are really what informs the community and keeps the cohesiveness for us to take on the challenges ahead and grow. So thanks again. Cheers. I see you're back. Can you give a close? Great.
Yeah, I don't really have much reception, but yeah, man, this is great. Thank you, people, for just hanging in with each other, right? It's really all we can ask for. I think like what we've got here is an ethos that that deserves definitely to be protected and innovated on. And most importantly, when we treat people with dignity and respect and stay in the battle, stay in the dialogue, good things happen. So yeah, that's it. Thank you all.
100%. One last thing is, so in the startup/business world, you have this idea of leading indicators and lagging indicators. So, for example, if you have a startup that trades on the stock exchange, extreme example, but let's imagine that you have a startup that trades on a stock exchange, and one day it generates 100 leads a day, for example, which equates to X amount of revenue. The moment they figure out a system to generate 10x the amount of leads, so they go from 100 to 1,000, in theory, the stock price will go up 10x. because there's an expectation of revenue coming in, but the stock market doesn't see that. They only see it once it actually happens. So what happens is the leads then get converted, they go to a sales team, etc., and then a couple months later, they generate 10x the amount of revenue, and that's when the price follows. So the way you invest in crypto is you look at the leading indicators. You don't look at the lagging indicators. Price is a lagging indicator. Stuff like adoption, volume, builders, hyperdeflation, that is leading indicators. Price is lagging. So the moment you look at the leading indicators and the next day you look at the lagging indicator, which is price, and it's not up, that's normal. Like it takes a while for these effects to follow through, and it's like a slingshot. The harder you pull it back, the farther it goes. So like this always happens. Like dips are in the game. It's normal. As long as you focus on the leading indicators, like everything in this ecosystem is so healthy, so healthy.
Absolutely. It's great. Thanks again, Jake, for that. That is really that was what I was trying to say in many words, but you just simply encapsulated it and really, absolutely. They're lagging indicators and the prices as we see them here really are lagging, but the fundamentals are very strong. So great. Thanks again, Jake, for that. Callum, over to you.
Hiya. Just I think I'll just touch quickly on the ethos, if that's all right. Obviously, I'm a new builder, and I think one of the things that really attracted me to TITANX was the ethos. That I really like Jake's shopping mall analogy even, where whoever comes in to the shopping mall, everyone benefits. The whole system benefits, and I think there's no need to open a store outside of the shopping mall. I think everyone stays inside because everyone benefits. There's more traffic, there's more everything. Even if you launch a shop that doesn't do very well, everyone's still going to benefit from it. I just thought I'd share that. I don't know how helpful that is. But also, I've got the stream with Jordan Riz and Smoothing Crypto at 9 UTC. So we're going to be talking about Phoenix and Flare. So tune in for that. And thanks for having me on. Bye.
Thanks a lot, Callum. Thank you. And those are definitely very, very good comments and contributions. So, Jake, you want to say something?
No, that's it. Just a little heart emoji.
Okay. Great. Dude, your turn.
Yeah, I enjoyed the conversations, and I would gladly be a part of any future discussions if there's still fear, uncertainty, doubt with anybody about any of this stuff. I think I can. I think I have a good perspective on it, and then would be glad to, share that with anybody. So. If there is more questions, come join the Telegram and speak your concerns, and I think I can address them just as well. I appreciate, Jake, you came on here. That's you said it best. So to me, this is a non-issue. So just as far as what I'm talking about or what I got going on, stacks, we're showing off stacks this week. Stay tuned. I'm super excited about it. It will boost the E280 ecosystem. So y'all have a great week ahead.
Thanks, dude. Mike, over to you.
Oh yeah, sorry, guys. I mean, I think a lot of people have said this already. I mean, the ethos is and has always been built on TITANX, and I think that is just. I think that has to just stay that way, essentially, because, I mean, all the analogies have been spoken, essentially, right? I mean, obviously, as an engineer myself, I have my thoughts, and I try to figure out the precise words to communicate as best as I can. And shout out to Jake for coming in today as well, because I mean, I try to. That's why I like to use the drawings, so that there is no misinterpretation of things, right? There is the liquidity pool. How do you get to the other side? You have to go through that liquidity pool. And then for me, it's just very clear, like how things work, essentially. So maybe I can do some drawings and we can talk about this in a more chilled session. So anyway, thank you very much. I'm going to make a stream tomorrow for the Matrix white paper. So tune in. I'm going to post in the link later on or so. And shout out to Steve, by the way. Check out Tobo. It has launched today. Thank you.
It's great. Thank you. I like to call Mike the professor on his drawings. Yes, we look forward to your drawings, Mike, definitely. Yeah, that probably yes will help. But the discussions today have been really good, and really this is really what we are about. I think open to ideas. That's really what that's kind of my take, is that we really need to be open to ideas, because they, they're things that may be on our, sort of at our sort of blind spot that we are ignoring or not noticing. That if we just choose just to not entertain new ideas, then we may miss. So that is really, I think that's part of our ethos as well, is to be prepared to discuss and subject our ideas to scrutiny. And so yes, and of course, I think as you mentioned, I think the discussions that we promote should be done in a respectful way, and I think that goes of course without saying. I know Jake has mentioned again that this is pretty much, he doesn't see an issue there, and I'm happy that he actually came and gave his view in a strident manner so that it's quite clear. I'm very happy, of course, as well, that everyone has contributed here. I'm really happy that Rainman really came in with his ideas, of course, and put them forward, and enabled this discussion, and he was definitely strident with his view as well. So I think we're definitely heading in the right direction. That's really it. I think we're heading in the right direction. Yes, we all want the right thing. I think the strategic goals are the same. The tactical approach and getting there, maybe we may differ on it, but please, we can't tear down this house because people disagree at all. We've got something special here. Let's continue to build it, and we would really be in a good place literally in a few months to come. And I want to add, that's not financial advice, but I really truly believe that we're going to be in a special place in a few months to come if we carry on building and handling issues in the way that we have witnessed here. So thanks again.
Yeah.
If there's anything else to say, Jake, do you want to say something before we knock it on ahead?
Yeah, exactly. The reason I harp on this so much is because we've seen this play out with Ethereum. This is exactly what Vitalik did. It's like, yeah, build whatever you want as long as it's a roll up and it integrates with Ethereum somehow, it's fine. And then you get this massively cannibalistic network that just drains economic energy from Ethereum. And then you have this Arbitrum, et cetera, with their own tokens. They force sell down of Ethereum to go into these other L2 chains. And it becomes this massive cannibalistic ecosystem that was started with good intentions. So the reason I'm so hard on this is because the moment one sets the example, other people will follow because they look at it as a permission path. So the build on TITANX ethos is designed to be symbiotic. Our ecosystem works because it's symbiotic, because all the builders work together. And if you build something that's cannibalistic, you are directly and indirectly attacking all the other builders. So then it turns into the stripe versus stripe mentality. And that's when things start going south. So the build on TITANX ethos is designed to be symbiotic. They're very, very simple things to follow. Like there's nothing complicated. It's not restrictive at all. You can build whatever the fuck you want, as long as it is symbiotic to the whole ecosystem. That's the big one. Because one thing that I stand by a lot is like it only takes one rotten apple to ruin a bunch. Like if you stand for nothing, you fall for everything. So the build on TITANX ethos is designed to protect our community from cannibalistic endeavors, so we don't go to the same path.
Great. I think that's clear. And yes, may the success of TITANX continue. And if anyone has any sort of ideas in the future, please do feel free. Make them known, and let the discussion continue, and let the building continue as well. TITANX has gone multi-chain after all, and there's a lot more to do. So thanks everyone again. Have a great week ahead, and we'll do it again next week. Take care, everyone, and bye for now.